Hi everyone, welcome to Matchday -1 ahead of tomorrow's game in Bristol against Belgium. And Anton, we'll begin with you, please.
Morning both, nice to see you. Sarina, first we'll get to all the exciting news around the World Cup, but just want to hear about team news, any squad updates going into the game against Belgium?
Yes, Fred and Chloe will not be available tomorrow. They picked up little niggles, so we're working towards Tuesday. They're still here, of course, so we're working to that, but they're not available for tomorrow.
How disappointing is that?
Yes, of course. Well, first of all, that's really disappointing for them because they were in a very good place. They're still in a good place. Disappointing for the team, but as always, we prepare for the next step. So we think in scenarios and who's ready to play for the team or to come in.
Both, I think we're very keen to get back into the England team and show what they can do going into the Nations League and the Euros. So how much does that kind of set back preparations, I suppose? Because getting those two players game time, I suppose, was quite important.
Yeah, well, I think it's really important that we have a good picture of our team. Of course, we're going out to play Belgium twice and we want to win those games. But also getting the team ready for the Euros and know who we have and who's available and who's in good form. So you're always thinking in that direction, and who then's going to play and who's not. That's up to the moment what we think is best for the team.
Let's go back to the news that we heard this morning about the home nations being the sole bidder for the 2035 World Cup. You see the smile on your face.
Yeah.
How much of an impact do you think it's going to have on football in the UK?
Yeah, of course, it's really good news, and it would be really great if that tournament would be held here. We know with the experience of the Euros how big the game is already here and what that momentum did here in the country, but also worldwide, I think. So another tournament, even on an even bigger stage, would be incredible, and that will, give another boost to the game.
Yeah, it'd be a World Cup, potentially 48-team tournament as well. How big a deal do you think is having? We've obviously had Euros over here, but how do you think having a World Cup just feels a bit different?
Euros feels really good too, especially the last two, I would say. So hopefully the next one will feel really good too. But it's an even bigger stage. It's the biggest female event we have in the world. So that's so exciting. So yes, it would be incredible to have it here.
Leah, just your reaction to the news this morning about the World Cup being over here in 10 years' time.
I think having experienced the home tournament, which we all realised at the time how lucky we are, I think it's exciting news for players to know that potentially that's on the horizon. And I'm sure, the impact that 2022 has had, I'm sure you'll have some stories if England are to host in 2035. I think you'll have some stories that will be pretty special, having led on from that time.
Does it change sort of career trajectories, I suppose? 10 years' time is a big target away, but,
Stranger things have happened. Who knows? But I think 100%, if players know that the home tournament's coming up, then 100% they would, I think, have that in the back of their mind.
Thanks.
Sarina, just on that World Cup expansion to 48 teams, I just wonder, there's been kind of mixed opinions on that in the men's game. Do you think it'd be good for women's football to have that expansion?
Yeah, that's a good question, tricky answer. Because before this World Cup, I said, well, I'm not sure, are we ready? And but that World Cup in 23 really showed that to have more teams there made it even more. Well, it made it competitive. It was a very good tournament. So having thought it will grow the game again in different countries, because different countries have opportunities to come and still lots of challenges to overcome. Because countries are in different stages of their development. So it will empower women in sport, women in football, women in sport, and women in society, I think.
What about you as a coach? Is it quite exciting that you're going to be facing, so many more different teams, different cultures, hopefully?
I'm not a coach anymore at that time. So I don't expect myself to be involved as a coach. But it's always nice to have different opponents in front of you and different challenges. That's what I like, what most coaches like, I think. So, but that's up to other coaches, I think.
I'd love to know what you're going to do in retirement.
Me too. I have no clue. I don't plan that much ahead.
Just on some of the players that are coming into this in really good form, obviously Leah next to you is one of them. I want to talk about her a little bit, but Alessia Russo has been scoring goals for fun at the moment. Obviously just helped Arsenal get through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Do you feel she's playing with a lot of confidence at the moment?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I think what we've seen, of course, we finished very nice our last camp, and in between these two camps have been many very competitive games. It was really enjoyable to watch, but you saw the level went up again. Some great big challenges for teams that had many England players in their squad, so that was really good to see. And yes, you absolutely could see that a lot of players grew some confidence and are in a good place.
Yeah, and just on Leah next to you as well, obviously she's come back from that ACL injury really well, and seems like she's playing with a lot more consistency now. Is that something that you've been really pleased to see? And I suppose that probably didn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't surprise me, and we want consistency, so we have conversation about that and connections. So those connections Leah has at club, and now again with some other players next to her. And yeah, we talk about connections all the time, consistency. Now we're also preparing in our next opponent, Belgium, which will challenge us different than what Portugal has done and what Spain has done. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll perform really well.
Yeah, and Leah, just on your form, do you feel that you're playing some of your best football at the moment?
I think we're just very at club. It started off this last block, obviously, with a good result against Spain. I thought you saw a very almost like task-focused team that knew what they needed to do and did the job. Everyone was very together. I'm very lucky to play in two good environments, I think, that bring out the best in you. If the team's playing well, then it's a great opportunity for you to get back to playing a great level as well. So I think the games that we've been playing have been really exciting, like Sarina says, and really enjoyable. And I think what you're seeing is a lot of players playing in that mindset of really enjoying themselves at the minute, which you always hope it brings out the best. But at the minute, I think that is the case.
Yeah, and just going back to Alessia, obviously your Arsenal teammate as well.
Yeah,
I feel like she's showing a bit of an aura now that maybe we haven't seen in the past. Do you think that's the case from her?
I think everyone will always say that how nice of a person Alessia is and how good of a person she is, and everybody wants her to succeed for that reason. But to be a number 9 in any team, you do have to have that sort of not arrogance, but that confidence about you. And I think we all want to see Les playing like she is, so that she carries that, because she deserves it as a human. She works hard for it, but as a player, obviously we know what a talent she is. And when she's scoring goals, then I know that gives her confidence. She's given back to the team, and the team appreciate it as well.
Oh well, thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Good morning to you both. Could I ask you both a question first about the World Cup again? Particularly, I'm thinking of the fact that the under-19s won 6-0 yesterday. I'm wondering what your message would be to players in that team, who could be 28, 29 when that tournament comes around, and what your message would be for them, and what an exciting day for people like that now to hear that we were likely to be hosting that tournament.
I don't think we do have to give any message anymore, because having possibly the World Cup here, that's the message. So they probably, I expect them to have seen the Euros in 22 here in England, what it did and how exciting it was. So I think that's a motivation on itself. I think they all want to make the England team, but this is even more motivation to get the opportunity to possibly play in a home tournament.
And can I ask you the same question, Leah? Thank you.
I joke all the time with you talk about the 19s, there's a lot of those girls at Arsenal, and we talk all the time about how our ages are so different, and it feels like yesterday when I was that age. So I think I can't wait for that time to come around and then be my age and for me to ask the same questions that I've been asking this week when I turn 28 and they're still sitting in the teens. So I think there's some great players. I think, like Sarina says, how exciting to know that potentially is on the horizon. And if you ever needed an incentive, I can vouch for a home tournament being one of those.
And I also wonder whether the fact that the FAs across the UK have put so much into trying to get this tournament, like how much do you think that's down to the legacy of what this Lionesses team have done? Like is this all? I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase the question, but I'm just wondering how proud you all are of the fact that the success that this team has had in showing the interest in the women's game has sort of helped lead to this moment.
Yeah, I think so many people have worked so hard to get where we are right now. So when I came in 21, I felt so much support, and everyone's working so hard to get the women's football to the next level here, and that's what you saw too. So getting all the support for this team, but that's wider than just the Lioness itself. It's also the pathway and the growth of the game, and also at the back of the Euros when we won it, of course the players had this incredible message. For access to football for every girl, but also the country, the clubs, the FA was ready then to boost the game, and that's what you feel all the time. In England, the FA and everyone else who's involved in the women's game wants to grow the game. That's what I feel.
Is that the same for you, Leah?
Yeah, I think obviously that World Cup isn't, confirmed. I know that we're so bitter. I think the demonstration of 2022, I'm proud to have been a part of such a good show. For women's football, like Sarina says, globally as well. But I think the commitment from the FA, that the conversations that we're in all the time about how we push the game on, I think 2022 was a great demonstration of that intent. And then to follow up with a World Cup bid, I think it says a lot about how much we care about women's football here on home soil, but then also globally as well. I think we know the impact that we can have by demonstrating how incredible those tournaments can be. So, yeah.
Please could I also ask one other question? The other thing Gianni Infantino said this morning was that he would like the Women's Olympic tournament to increase to 16 teams rather than 12. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that from both of you and whether you would welcome that, increase in that tournament. I know obviously GB was so close last time, but just wondering your thoughts on that possibility.
Yeah, I think there has been a lot of conversations about the Olympics. I think expanding is okay. I think the combination with the calendar and how congested it is, and I think that have my main thoughts now. So I wouldn't want to answer now what my thoughts on it, because my thoughts are mainly on the bigger picture.
So, no, thank you all very much. Thank you.
Perfect. Any final questions?
Just a one about with the two injuries. Are you going to have to call anybody else up?
No, not for this moment. Not for this moment. Yeah.
Great. If there are no final questions, we'll end it there and we'll see you in Bristol. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.